So in case you didn't hear that, it's Administrative Professionals Day, and that's what people were clapping about. So thank you, administrative professionals, for all that you do. We literally could not run this place without you. We appreciate all the work that you do for us on behalf of the students of Western Piedmont. And you guys do a great job. We have a number of things to cover today since the last trustees meeting, or that occurred at the last trustees meeting, which was held on the 10th of April. And as we usually do in this, we will do the VP's presentation. They will get up and do their part of the presentation, and then I'll wrap up the meeting. And I remind you at this point that if you do have any questions, because we have to be out of here in an hour, there's another meeting right behind this one. But if you do have any questions, use the Tell Us How We're Doing section of the web page. I think you all know how to get there. A lot of people have been using that. And we will respond directly to you if you have a direct question. If you leave your name, you do not have to leave your name. We do not try to find out who it was. We've talked about that every time. We have no way of doing that. But the senior administration does take those comments, and they come to me, through Susan Burley, they come to me, and then from there I go out to the vice presidents, and we do discuss any of the information that is on there. And as I said, if there's someone specific who has asked for information back, we will be glad to get back with you. So now, without further ado, we will switch over to our vice presidents. We're going to start with Sandy, and then we will go to Rhea, and then Atticus, and then I will come back and wrap this up today. So, Sandy.
Good afternoon. Thought you left that for me.
Yeah.
But it is my honor to start out with introducing our new employees since March the 1st, 2018. First, we have Jessica Reed. She'll stand up if she's in here. I'm not sure if I saw her or not. But Jessica began employment at Western Piedmont as a career coach in student services on April the 4th. Jessica's prior work experience includes youth career coach for Ross Innovative Employment Solutions and an adolescent parenting program coordinator and teen tobacco prevention coordinator with Caldwell Council on Adolescent Health. Jessica earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Health Education, Secondary Education from Appalachian State University. Secondly, we have Amanda Smith, who began employment at Western Piedmont as the Bookstore Technician 2 position on April the 16th. Amanda's most recent work experience includes Assistant Customer Service Manager at Food Line and also Software Developer Analyst with Lowe's Company Incorporated. Amanda earned an Associate in Science degree from Western Piedmont Community College and a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Information Systems from Appalachian State University. So join me in welcoming these new employees. They can watch their introduction on the video when it comes out too. So next we have the trustee update, and they did make me talk for almost an hour at the trustee meeting, and you will not have to put up with me for an hour, I promise you. But we did have our normal discussions that we have. We had the budget allocations, transfers, and reversions that come in throughout the year. We did take our county current operations and capital outlay budget plan to the trustees to approval, which we presented to our county commissioners. We are requesting a total increase of $100,450 over fiscal year 2017-18, or a 4.2% increase with our county funding. We anticipate operational requirements to be $2,567,450. We did try to be conservative and keep that down for the county commissioners, but do feel like we need an increase in that funding. A couple of the things, major items that we're planning for is estimated increases for salaries and benefits, estimated increase for utilities and insurance, and then funds to contract with an external vendor for an active shooter drill on campus, as well as funds to increase security presence on campus as well. Then we requested $135,000 in capital funds for 2 projects. The first is a facility master plan, which we have not completely done a facility master plan here in almost a decade. The 3 things that we'd like to get out of that is 1, a plan for deferred maintenance like HVAC repairs, roof replacements. 2, electronic blueprints for all of our buildings, and this is mainly for security purposes, so we have that electronically, just not in print. And then 3, future development, whether that be new construction or renovation. Feel like planning for the future, we need to figure out what those projects are that we need to be planning for. The second project is campus wayfinding signage, and as many, if not all of you will agree, we definitely need new signage on campus. The one example I gave the county commissioners and our trustees was Jim Burnett Hall. On our signage outside, it still says Health Science Building, and it's been changed for a few years now. So we definitely need some improvements there. Our goal is really not only to maintain, but also improve our facilities, and we need that additional funding to do that. So of course there were other items that we discussed, and then updates on facilities. The other item that I wanted to talk a little bit more about with you is the approval of Section 1 of the Policy Manual, which is Board of Trustees and Governance. We have reviewed this section and redid it with the help of our attorneys. If you'll remember, a few years ago we did this with the Human Resource section, and have that updated on the intranet so it's more user-friendly, and you can click on the links to go straight to the policy or the procedure. So we're doing that with each of our sections, trying to update those and review them. And our attorneys, Campbell Shatley, they've worked with 7 or 8 community colleges as well as K through 12 systems. So they're giving us a lot of advice in that respect as well. Wanted to mention our security updates, which we talk about every time that we meet in a college-wide setting, just to keep that at the forefront. We have launched the emergency messaging system that we're using, and we've sent out instructions on how to get the mobile app so that you can get those V alerts. And I'm going to try to multitask here, so hopefully I won't lose our presentation. If you go to our webpage under WPCC messaging service, you see those instructions on how to download the app. It is a 2-step process. I think some people may have done the first step but didn't complete the process. So it is on the web page, so if you can tell your students where to get that information, or if you have any trouble getting it, let us know. Down at the very bottom, if you do not have a smartphone or window-based phone, you can also call this number and they can help you still get the message out without having to go through the mobile app if needed. Door renovation and access control. Again, we are behind on that project, but it's still in the works. We hope to get that started soon. We did the fire drill today. Hopefully everybody made it outside without any complications. So we'll do more of the different tabletop activities and training activities and drills throughout the year. Facility updates, we have the Megatronics and the Kiln building, which have been completed. Yes, doesn't the grass look really good? Power of technology. Do want to thank everyone that helped with getting those projects up and out of the way. Too many people to really mention, but between all the tours, the open house, the advanced manufacturing day, a lot of people went into making those buildings very, very presentable, and I think the community is very impressed with them. Wanted to mention this project we have underway. It's the incline platform lift that will be right outside of these doors that will bring a lift up to the floor of Leviton, and we received a grant from the E. Rhodes and Leona D. Carpenter Foundation to help with that. And we have the bids went out, and on March 29th, Oracle Elevator Company received those bids, and they should be starting on that program soon. If you are at FHEC, you probably have heard some noise the last few weeks and probably some dust. But the H building renovation is underway by starting first with the dental relocation from H building over to FHEC. And Stuart McKee was a low bidder on that project, and he has already began over at FHEC to start that relocation. The classroom and the lab will be relocated to Foothills Higher Education. We received the bids for the H building this week. We are working with the low bidder on that. It was a little bit higher than we wanted to, so we'll be working with the low bidder to see what cost we can maneuver around and negotiate to make sure that we're under budget and can begin that project shortly. And this is where Burke Middle College will be as we continue. Again, like I said, the door renovation for access control, a little bit behind schedule, but we still have that in the works, and hopefully we'll be ready to send that out soon. The cafe, we did open the bids for that this week as well. Unfortunately, it was very much over budget, so that we're going to have to really step back and punt on that one. But we do fully intend to continue that project and get the cafe up and going soon, but we just have to look at that again and see what we can do to alleviate some of the cost there. The other updates that I just wanted to mention real quickly, college vehicles, we are starting a program with Enterprise Leasing where we're going to try to lease vehicles versus buying them, hopefully to keep them rotated on a more regular basis and also to maintain them so the safety is better for all the vehicles. We have an electronic program where they can keep up with when the maintenance is being taken care of. GeoTab is a piece of that process that will be able to keep track of the vehicle itself and let us know if the check engine light is on, if the oil is low, so that we can better maintenance those vehicles earlier versus when something actually happens to them. So that's a great thing for the vehicles. We're going to try to see how that goes. We also have new fuel cards, which many of you have seen. It's not much difference, but they're WEX cards, which means you can go to an Exxon station or a Mobil station. No, it doesn't add a whole lot, but there's also a few other stations that are part of the program. There's a website that you can go to find the nearest gas station close to you, and we're still learning about that, so you'll hear more about that as we go. But we hope that provides a few more opportunities for fueling, especially as you go east towards Raleigh, because I know Exxon stations were a little bit hard to find sometimes. The last thing I wanted to bring up is in our bookstore, Christina has worked very hard with David Biddix and Nancy Norris to get Timber up and going, which is kind of the software program for ordering books and supplies online. You can see it looks very much like our web page, but you can search for things over here, you can order them online. So not only books, but also merchandise as well. So I appreciate Christina doing that part. And that concludes mine. So I will let Rita come up. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I want to start with some good news. We have recently been notified that we have a 100% pass rate on both the written and practical components of the nanotechnology exam. That our first inaugural group of nanotechnology students in the cosmetology program, they took this exam in December. We had a 100% pass rate. Congratulations to Blake Dula, Kayla Sperling, and all the students in the class, and we'll have more students testing in May and June. I talked to the Board of Trustees about the Professional Development Day that was held here on March the 6th, and they just keep getting better every time we do this. And I thought this was an exceptionally good event. I want to thank the Educational Initiatives Committee, Dr. McKesson, and all the group that worked on that for that particular day. The general session dealing with accessibility, was presented by Dr. Tony Regow in the system office. Was really eye-opening and enlightening to me. And a group of us met with him after the session, and boy, he really kind of put a fear into some of us about some issues we need to work on here on campus, and so we're going to be looking at some of those things. But I think it was a good day for everyone that was there. We are working very closely with Burke County Public Schools, and our relationship with them is the best I think it's ever been. Several of us were in a meeting with them this morning. We work with them all the time. We had a meeting here on campus on March the 8th with Dr. Putnam, several of the central office staff, some staff from here at Western Piedmont, and we were just talking about how can we increase our enrollment. Increasing enrollment is important to all of us. And so we were looking at what can we do with high schools? How can we improve that? And one of the things we've been looking at is how can we increase our CCP offerings? And for those of you that are not involved in it, that's the College and Career Promise program that we offer with the high schools. And one thing we're going to be doing differently is we're going to be working more closely individually with the counselors at each of the high schools. we do a lot of things for them as a group, but we're going to start working more closely on an individual setting to make sure they understand what we're doing, and we're working much more closely. We're also in the process of putting in a welding lab at East Burke High School. We haven't started much yet, and we already have 38 students registered for fall. So fall and spring, not all 30 mountains, calm down. We're not having 38 in fall. 38 registered for next year. We have 85 students registered for welding at Freedom. 44 for the first class and 41 for the second class. Again, not all one semester. Don't panic. But enough for over the year. So that's just an example of the way, just sitting down talking to the schools, we're finding things that we need to work on. Dr. Helmick and I are going out visiting each of the high schools, looking at their CTE programs, getting some input, talking to their instructors, talking to students that are in their programs. We've been to Freedom and Patton, and we have plans to go to Drawn and East Burke as well. But this is a real good experience for us. We're learning a lot and finding areas that we could work more closely with Burke County Public Schools. I personally want to thank each of you that participated in the 8th grade tours we had back in March. Thanks to Jessica and student services staff and all of the faculty and other staff that were working with that. Whew, it was a time, wasn't it? Everybody said, but I was able to go around and visit over half of the presentations, and wow, it was amazing. You guys outdid yourself again. It's a great opportunity to get those students here on campus, and it's good to showcase Western Piedmont. Advanced Manufacturing Day was here on April the 10th. Again, it was outstanding. We had excellent attendance for that. The 10th, 11th, and 12th graders were here from the high schools, and they went through, and they met with the industry part of the day, and then they came through and went through all of our program areas. And again, you outdid yourselves. This was a fantastic event. I was especially impressed with the interaction between the high school students and the industry representatives that were here. It's been good before, but I think this was the best year. We even had industry comment on how receptive the students were. And then that afternoon, we also had an open house for our mechatronics building. And again, if you've not had an opportunity to go to that, you need to. So if you've not been through the building, please, I urge you all to do that. On April 11th, we had the first annual construction rodeo. We partnered with Burke County Public Schools. Stony Story worked very hard, very closely with Randy Burns and the construction faculty from the high schools, and it was an outstanding event. For our first one, I was real impressed. And the high school students came, and they were in competitions in all different areas of construction, and we got some great ideas for next year. And thanks to some of our sponsors and to the foundation, we were able to give a $500 scholarship to the person that came in with the best score at the end, and so that was good. It was a great event, and we're already working on the next one. We have more to add to it for next year. On April 12th, several Western Piedmont staff went to East Burke High School and participated with the State Boys Credit Union on a Reality of Money event, and this was a great time. There were probably 6 or 7 from Western Piedmont that participated in this. And if you've never had an opportunity to do this, students are given a sheet of paper that says, okay, you are single and have 2 kids. This is your job and you make this much money. Now go. And we had different booths, different tables set up. I happened to be at the clothing table. There was a table for insurance, a table for food, a table for childcare, a table for entertainment, table for your credit cards, table for this, a table for that. Well, then you had to make your money go for the whole month. And it was quite interesting. I had one kid come back to my table and said, I got to get rid of my wife. I don't have money for my wife. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but if you get rid of your wife, half of your salary goes away. Oh, no. I said, she's not going to give you her money, and if you're not going to, so it was a real good event. I think the child care table, I heard somebody say, I got to get rid of these kids. So you should have thought of that before. But it was a great event. On April 12th and 13th, we hosted machining instructors. Brandon and Larry did an outstanding job with all those machining instructors here in Western Piedmont. And anytime we get an opportunity to do it to people across the state, we want to do that. And thanks, Brandon, for the work y'all put into that. Registration for summer and fall is underway. Please, please, please talk to your students, those of you that are faculty. Remind your students, you can register for summer and fall. You don't have to pay for fall until after July or in July. We need students to be registering. I hope that many of them will continue to register now. As you know, graduation is upon us, a little over 2 weeks. So the curriculum graduation will be May the 12th at Comma. As always, we will have 2 ceremonies again this year, one at 10 and one at 2. The nursing pinning is scheduled for Thursday, May 3rd at First Baptist Church at 7 p.m. Medical lab tech pinning is, and I might have my dates mixed up on this. Medical lab tech pinning is it May 7th? Or is that medical assisting? One of them is May 7th, the other is May 8th, okay? So those are both coming up. We've got a lot of that going on. There will be an email that you get, faculty and staff, concerning graduation will be coming from Dr. Helmick, so be watching it. We're going to line up a little differently this year, faculty. We will be lining up differently, so I want you to pay attention to this email that will be coming. It's a fun time of the year to celebrate our students. Thank you.
Good afternoon. April showers bring Mayflowers. What do Mayflowers bring? Pilgrims. Sorry, this is not part of my act. Okay, we'll get to this. It's pretty cool. Okay, that was my joke. It's been very busy in the workforce development side of the house, developing programs designed to get people trained up and to work as soon as possible. Our Furniture Academy is holding strong. We'll have our first class who will be finished up later on this month. Out of the 11 students that we have, 8 of those are in high school and 3 of them are incumbent workers. And so as these students begin to finish up class, and we're helping to place them into internships this summer to give them a little bit of experience. And then if they so choose, we can sign them up for an upholstery class in the fall. In the meantime, is this too distracting in the background? No. All right, how about that? We'll come back to that. Because it was kind of distracting to me too. In the meantime, we're working on an application. Lee is to submit to the state that will give us the opportunity to offer this program to high school students during the day and evening, but will allow, in a way, the high school students will be able to take it with a tuition fee waiver. Right now, our high school students who are in the class are sponsored by companies who have given to the foundation to support these students. But hopefully we can get that so there'll be no charge for those students moving forward. We're also preparing applications to submit to the state to qualify for the same type of waivers for high school students to take EMT and fire classes. These programs, the fire, EMT, and the furniture, these are CCP pathways that you all have heard about from the curriculum side, but these will be workforce con ed CCP pathways. The whole benefit for those students is that tuition is waived, and it's a program to get them to the market a little bit quicker with the job skills that they need to go to work. So keep your fingers crossed. We're excited about the potential that we have in those programs. We also recently announced an electricians academy that maybe some of you have seen. That's through a partnership with Burke Development, Burke and Burke, and then also the Burke County Home Builders Association. This is a direct response to the housing summit that was conducted last year, where there's a strong need for construction industry workers communicated during that event. This program is a 12-week program. It meets 5 days a week from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a total of 200 intensive classroom and hands-on training hours. We feel like this is what we know is a greatly condensed program over a short amount of time. That's probably the type of program that's going to be better designed to meet the needs of our local workforce. And it's in the same spirit of like the academy model, like the Furniture Academy and the Fire Academy. This will focus on commercial and residential electrical services, and so we'll have some graduates out of that program ready to go to work into entry-level classes or entry-level jobs in August. And we have companies like Triangle Construction, KEGA Electric, and City Electric who are behind us, helping us make this program work. We also have a scholarship grant from Wells Fargo that's going to help us get some of these students who can't afford the tuition through the program. So we're really excited about that. Our emergency services program, our Fire Academy, held its graduation. Where's Todd? Is he here? Okay. That graduation was last week. We graduated the same number of cadets that we started with. So we were able to retain them throughout the whole program. That's the second year in a row that we've been able to do that. So we're really proud of that. And that's due to the hard work of instructors like Todd and Matt Rogers, who were willing to stay after class into the late evening hours to make sure that these students were successful. A couple of the interesting things that have been going on in that area, the Hickory Fire Department, they're coming over to do classes with us. So is the Conover Fire Department. Morganton Public Safety continues to use our services. The Lincolnton Fire Department, or if you're from there, Lincoln, will be coming to the ESTC for 3 days in May. We also have the North Catawba Fire and Rescue coming to our facilities out of other counties to use our expertise. So I think that's really interesting, and I think it shows the good work that Todd and his team are doing. Emergency medical services, we've got a paramedic program continuing on with 7 students. I have an EMT class that's going that will be finished later in May with 8 students, and then our ambulance is being recertified this month through OEMS, and then we'll have an EMT class that starts later this in May on the 29th. Is Rick here? Okay, customized training. We recently added 2 new projects, one from Chaddock Furniture and one from Leviton. These are repeat customers because of the great work that Rick is doing. But that project comes in at about $100,000 over the next 3 years. With that project, that brings our total up to about 12 open projects. Is that right? Which is more than any other college in our MSA, and it's more than any other college on I-40 between Statesville and Asheville. So there's another great example of the work that's happening in Lee's area. We're really proud of that. Basic law enforcement training. Our final cadet from the fall graduating class just got employment, so that's 100% employment out of that program. Something else to be really proud of. We have at least 70, it's probably more now, officers who are signed up to attend a 3-day basic street gang investigation class starting on April 30th. So that's next week. If you're in a gang, you better watch your back. And then also we had a surprise spot check from an auditor come in from the North Carolina Criminal Justice Education and Training Standard Commission, and they just like to show up, and when they did, because of Robin's work and Steve's work and his team, we were given 2 thumbs up by the auditor, and they were commended for their great work. Career and college readiness area. We've been conducting a sewing class with a total of 26 English language learners who are learning a new skill to serve their families, their friends, and then ultimately some of these folks will show up at some of the local furniture companies who are in desperate need for sewers. So we're really proud of that program. And then finally, we had 26 students graduate from the adult high school GED program last week. And that was always a great ceremony, very inspirational. We had 2 really good speakers. And furthermore, we had about 60 who will be graduating from the same program who are students at Foothills Correctional Institute. So that's a pretty large number of folks that we're educating there as well. From a marketing standpoint, this leads me to this. We've been working with a team of folks here to really boost what we're doing to promote summer. And so this is kind of the branded message we've created for the summer. We're going through a lot of different channels to promote this cool brand. including a direct mail piece, which this team came up with. And then David Biddix put all this creative together to make this a really cool, flashy thing that will be happening. The direct mail piece is going out to 2,900 people in the county. These are graduates of Burke County schools over the past 3 years. That mailer is promoting, obviously, them coming here, but also for transfer classes or just the opportunity to come back to college. We're also using the same type of creative to do digital ads throughout the internet. We'll be doing print media using the same look and feel. Pandora we're using, and we also have something going on in the theater, and then also some broadcast outlets, including the radio. And we're also using Channel 2 Compass Cable to promote some things there. So hopefully all of this will help boost people's interest into the college. This landing page that I'm showing you is, it's got a unique URL. This is the place where we're asking people who receive the mailer to go to. This will give us a great way to track how many people actually get that mailer. Once they scroll down and learn about what they do, there's also a contact us form. And so hopefully if people are interested, they'll complete that, and then we'll get that, and that gives us some really hot, if you will, leads. Even though this is a cool message to recruit, and so this is a great lead generation tool. So we're looking forward to working with that same group to develop the same type of creative or concerted orchestrated effort to promote fall. One last thing on the foundation board, or the foundation, pretty active, continues to be pretty active, of course. The foundation board met here on campus on March the 28th. They're certainly impressed by all the activities that are going on. They're doing something a little bit new this month in April, and that they're doing a thank you campaign. It's basically a new stewardship strategy with a goal of reaching out our donors to do nothing more than just to say thank you. We're trying to do this in an effort to communicate with our donors throughout the year. It also gives us an opportunity to promote the great things that are happening here on campus without asking them for money. We'll do that later, but let's continue to say thank you. Our annual giving campaign continues to roll on. We're about 10% over our goal, and our employee giving participation rates continue to get the college recognition as a best practice in the community college world. We've received calls from North Carolina community colleges. We got a call all the way from Oregon recently, and then we also just fielded a call from St. Louis Community College in St. Louis, Missouri, seeking guidance on how to improve their employee giving, which is now around 35%. So what you all are doing as far as giving to the foundation is not only appreciated, it's being recognized across the nation. And y'all are kind of developing your own brand of employee giving. I hope that you feel really positive and proud of that, because you should. So thank you very much for making that happen. The golf tournament is on May the 7th. We're in planning mode. Stacy's been doing a bang-up job on that. We've got about 20 teams, 18 hole sponsors, 1 card sponsor, and 1 food sponsor. So we are ready and set to go on that. That's shaping up to be a really good event. And as you remember, that program or that tournament helps us to raise money for professional development and recognition programs like our Outstanding Staff Award, our Excellence in Teaching Award, the Foundation mini grants, and then doing things like sending our administrative professionals to the Lifestyle and Personal Image event that's being held this Friday at Burke County Chamber of Commerce. So those are great things that you all are making possible through the foundation. We really, really appreciate your effort there. So in closing, what season is the best season to go on a trampoline? Springtime. Why are trees forgiving? Why are trees forgiving? Because in the fall they let it go, and in the spring they turn over a new leaf. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Presidents. I appreciate all that. I've got a number of things to get through, and what I'm going to do is cover everything that went on, everything else that went on on at the trustees meeting, as well as some other information that's come out since the trustees meeting. First, what I'm going to do is talk about our core values that we have been recognizing. We've got several of them that, as you all recall, we, as an initiative out of the President's office, in order to reinforce the strategic plan, we have begun recognizing core values, and we have had three folks who have been, or three, either a person or a group that has been nominated since February, since the last time that we met. And this is sort of small print, so I'm going to have to pick it up a little farther. But the first one of those people received the nomination for excellence. Excellence says that we strive to exceed the expectations of each other, our students, and community. We serve and we aspire to be known as an exceptional institution for the program and services we provide. So that's the core value of excellence, and that person is Tammy Whiteside. You all have received emails on these, but we just want to mention them. This month's core value example shines a spotlight on Tammy Whitesides and features an example of exceeding expectations for each other and for our students. The nominator was Karen Pritchard, and she commented that Tammy was consistently kind, accommodating, and more than willing to take on any task, stepping out of her comfort zone and assisting the Heat Division until we were able to hire a full-time division assistant. So let's give Tammy Whiteside. She's probably out of the. She would probably be here if you already don't know that. The next one also on excellence was the Information Technology Division. Nominator Attica Simpson stated that on multiple occasions during the fall semester of 2017, Jim received unsolicited thank you notes from employees receiving assistance from members of his team. In their notes, these employees specifically recognized members of the IT team for making their work life duties easier via software upgrades and a number of other things. So that team consists of Virginia Rector, Candace Hildebrand, Kyle Miller, Tina Stewart, Keith Strand, Valerie Jones, Nancy Norris, and Tim Pittman. Let's give them a big hand. We also tend to cluster right over here. The next one is diversity. We value global education and acknowledge perspective and contributions of all people. We seek opportunity to work, learn, and develop in a community of diverse students, faculty, and staff. Carla Lanier was recognized for her efforts around diversibility last fall, efforts that were continued during our recent professional development day. The concept of this movement is to raise disability awareness and reframe conceptions of ability. Carla submitted a mini grant to fund part of this month-long endeavor and was able to realize her vision with the help of Deanna Keller, Jessica Caldwell, and others on campus. So let's give them a big hand. So thank you all. Remember that you can submit your nominations for the core values, exceptional people who recognize that their core values through the Tell Us How We're Doing page. We'll get you onto that Tell Us How We're Doing page one way or another. Now it's my pleasure, but also the sad duty to recognize those folks who are retiring from us. This is always one of those bittersweet moments. I've said this before. We're thrilled that they're being able to go off and do other things if that's what they choose to do, but we also are very sorry to lose those folks. So I'm going to briefly recognize those individuals. The first one is Kathy Bowman, who was with us, been with us for 5 years as a print shop technician. Kathy's done a number of things, including moving us from Xerox to Sistel for cost savings. She's constantly looking for ways to improve the processes in the print shop and looks for ways to save the college money by researching prices. She's also served on the faculty, staff, council, and social awareness committees, and she's a service giver to other departments and colleagues. So, Kathy, we will miss you. Let's give her a hand. Next person I know is here because I see her right there, Deborah Lonan, who has 10 years of full-time service at Western Piedmont as the most recent position coordinator of performing arts. Most of us know Deborah by a variety of things, but she's also an actress. She has been in a Harris Teeter commercial. She was on, what's the program? What is it?
House of Cards.
House of Cards, that's the one. Love that show. She did a great job on that. She's also done things like prepared a Reader's Theater adaptation of The Crossing. I remember her Reader's Theater stuff from years ago. Done great service to the college. She operates on the premise that everyone is able, valuable, and responsible and deserves respect. She's passionate about teaching and learning and believes that her students respect and appreciate that passion. She's also done things like directing the Children's Readers Exchange for first graders at W.A. Young Elementary School. Some of her students have said things like, Miss Lonnan has a very bright, sunshiny, I'm sure that's a word, and is an outstanding teacher. She's very kind. And Ms. Lonnan is an excellent drama teacher that provides knowledge to effectively communicate a message, emotion to an audience. So, Deborah, thank you for your service. Many of you are aware that Leslie McKesson, who is our Dean of Business and Public Services and Academic Support, will be retiring this year. Leslie, I see you over there. She has 28 plus years of full-time service with the institution. She's done an outstanding job. She established one of the first online degree programs offered at the Western Piedmont campus, which was also the first completely online paralegal program in North Carolina and the Southeast region. She organized Black History Month activities for the college in conjunction with AASA and Global Education Committee activities, including the very popular community-wide amateur night. She's also done a lot of work in the development of new distance learning policies and procedures aligned with the college mission and the strategic plan. She established the distance learning rubric, comparability with faculty observation rubric for seated courses based on pilot courses. And she provided administrative support, oversight, and accountability for the development and timely implementation of the brand new cosmetology program. That was an easy task, wasn't it? That's me. I always like to give those hard assignments just as you're going out. She supported and facilitated the highly successful merger of the Academic Success Center and the LRC Library. Thank you so much for your years of service. You've done a great job. You're also a great neighbor, so thank you. It's not a secret, but in case you don't know, Leslie is also, Dr. McKesson is also going to be our graduation speaker. So we'll be looking forward to that. Next person is Maureen Dewar. Is Maureen here? Let's see her come in. She has 10 years of full-time service as an instructor in Spanish. She has served as an officer of the FLICC, that's the Foreign Language Instructors in Community Colleges. She's been active in Black History, women's multicultural activities. She's been a mentor to the Global Village Student Club. She's hosted the North Carolina Community College System Western Regional Global Learners Consortium. She works with outreach in the Hispanic Latin communities of Burke County and coordinates Hispanic ministries. Some of the comments from her students: great teacher, love this class, it was interesting, fun, and challenging. Maureen is an amazing teacher. I cannot wait to take Spanish 2 with her. And then there's one in Spanish that I will not attempt to read. But thank you, Maureen, for your service. Terry Hollis, who gets the record this year, 31 years of full-time service. Terry, I saw you do someplace already. There you are. Thank you. Her current position is Department Head of Business and Distance Learning. She chaired the distance learning writing team for 2 SAC COC reaffirmation visits. That means 20 years worth of service there. Known for being highly organized, and her record keeping is exemplary and always meeting deadlines often before the due date. Strengths include logic and problem solving, as well as she is innovative in finding ways to save the college money. She volunteers for Burke County Friends of Animals and the Humane Society, senior project judge for Burke Middle College. She's highly ranked as instructional materials are always presented clearly and always provide timely feedback, one of the comments from her students. And another comment is Ms. Hollis has been extremely helpful throughout this course, and the go-to meetings have had a level of teaching that I miss from other online classes. Terry, thank you so much for your years of service. Penny Peeler is next up, 21 plus years of service to the institution. She is the coordinator and instructor of environmental service sciences technology. She was instrumental in getting the Sustainable Technologies program established at Western Piedmont. She's always looking for innovative methods and tools to make course material more meaningful. She developed PowerPoint presentations for use by the Hunting Creek Partnership that addresses the issues of stream restoration. And a couple of comments from students. I could not be happier with everything Ms. Peeler has taught me in this course. She is very effective and with her course information. And also, I've had Ms. Peeler for all 4 classes this semester, and I'm very grateful. I feel that I've learned more this semester than any other I have attended. The course material is tricky. At some points in the semester, she did an awesome job of helping to make sense of it. Penny, are you in here? Did not see you. Thank you, Penny, for your years of service. Finally, David Benner, who will be with us this summer, but we will not be meeting again before he actually, as a group with the instructors. So we wanted to mention that David retires at the end of the summer. He is the coordinator of physical education, among many other things. David is a 2013 National Whitewater Canoe Champion. First time I saw David was in the 1970s paddling like crazy down a river, and was impressed then and still am impressed. His service to the college as he has participated in the ABCs for Kids a number of times, served on the college wellness committee as well as facilitated some wellness activities. His service to the community includes Wilson Creek cleanup, the rehabilitation of Adams Mountain Trail, and the student comments include Benner is hardcore. That he is. But he does his job well. Thoroughly enjoyed the class, strenuous hikes and beautiful vistas. I took David's class several years ago. He liked to kill me. But it was a good class. And we really appreciate David's years of service. Many of you know that David also took over from his father, who was here in the same capacity for a number of years. We will miss David greatly. But let's give David a hand. I'll get back to the rest of what went on at the trustees meeting, as well as some other things. We did adopt a change to the trustees bylaws that allows them to amend the agenda, add something to the agenda after the meeting has actually begun. In the past, that was a change. Probably doesn't hold much interest to you, but just so you're aware that that is done. And then Sandy's already mentioned the bylaws or the policy changes that affect the trustees that have gone into place also. I do want to talk to you about something that has not come up to the trustees meeting yet, but we were just made aware of it, and that is that the State Board of Community Colleges has implemented a change to the holiday policy. We were one of those colleges that had more than 12 holiday days that we took during the year. And this impacts staff. It does not impact faculty for the most part. But basically what the State Board has said is we will have to comply with the state rule on that, which means that we will have to do 12 paid holidays only. So there are 4 days that we have 2 options. We can either take those off and you all will work those days, or we can do what we will probably do, because this has to be done by July 1st. We will implement what we call mandatory vacation days. The first day that will be impacting you, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you now. And I want to stress, this has not been approved by the trustees. They are aware of it because we sent the information to them. But we will be recommending to the trustees that we use mandatory leave days so that you can be off on July 5th, which is a Friday, and not have to come back being off on July 4th.
Let's do that last.
Oh, it's July. What is it this year?
Wednesday. Wednesday.
Okay. We will be getting information to you about the big one is Christmas. That's the one that I wanted to get at. Rita's trying to confuse me. She brought me the 2019 calendar. We do have to have a calendar in place by July 1 of this year. But I wanted you to be aware, don't shoot the messenger. This is enacted by the State Board of Community Colleges. They are the ones that came back and said only 12 days. They do not treat us as state employees in everything that we do, but in this one they chose to treat us as state employees. Anyway, we will be getting with you, but there will be some days that you will need to save, especially during the Christmas holiday, so that we don't have to come back in here and open up the campus. We did discuss enrollment issues with the trustees, and just so you are aware, this is not the good information that we would like to talk to, but we are currently into self-supporting funds this year. We are not happy about being into self-supporting funds. For those of you that don't know what self-supporting funds are, those are funds that come from other places. That in the past we earned self-supporting funds in the summer for the classes that we taught because we did not earn FTE. Starting about 3 years ago, they allowed us to earn FTE, so we rolled out of self-supporting funds. It's basically a savings account for the institution. A lot of it comes out of continuing education for some of the programs that they do. It's very limited, though, in the amount, and the amount that comes back into it is also going to be even more limited. We have used self-supporting funds in the past, but this is the first year that we are having to use self-supporting funds to support salaries. And that puts us in kind of a tricky situation. As a result of that, because we know where we're going, we have decided to freeze or not fill positions. And some of those positions are not ones that we would have chosen to not fill, certainly. None of them we would have chosen to fill them all if we had, but we are in a little bit of a desperate financial situation, so we are not filling the Dean of Business, Public Services, and Academic Support that's coming available, the Director of Marketing and Development, Department Head, Business and Distance Learning, the Coordinator for Performing Arts, and the Coordinator of Environmental Sciences. Those positions are going to be held. So when we look at programs that we do or do not fill, we have some criteria that we look at. And the first thing that we do is, can the job be done by someone else or by a group within the college? Is it financially viable to outsource the position? We don't like to do that, but occasionally we do. Is the job grant funded or supported by some outside entity? For example, if it's a county funded position or a grant funded position. Does the job pay for itself for receipts other than state funds? So you will see throughout the year that there will be some jobs that get filled and some jobs that don't get filled. We always parse them through those requirements that are coming out there. So we want you to be aware that we will be filling some jobs, but we will not be able to fill all of those jobs, and we're going to try to handle them in the best way that we can. We are going to be realigning areas to cover duties previously performed by individuals in these positions. Atticus is now handling all the marketing in his area and is the person to contact with your marketing needs. IT has moved to administrative services. Sandy Wellman will be taking over that area. She has already taken over that area. External Affairs has moved to the President's office, so those duties that Atticus was doing in the External Affairs area, that is to free up his time because he is now very much hands-on with the marketing piece. The two curriculum deans will be splitting up the Dean of Public Services and Academic Support duties, and they are in the process of figuring out exactly how that's going to look. Some curriculum areas will have part-time faculty to teach classes. We are not anticipating any of those programs where we are not filling those positions closing. We are simply going to do them with part-time and hope that the situation improves. So it's kind of a temporary thing on most of those. We are looking at evaluating low-performing programs in the curriculum area just to see if there are some options for savings there. But we are just in the process of evaluating those, and nothing is planned for those before the fall to do anything with those programs. We are continuing to look at some positions that may be impacted by the budget, but expect no additional personnel changes until after the next trustees meeting, which takes place in June, unless retirements or resignations happen to show up in the meantime. If we were to replace all positions, just to give you all a little information, it would cost us over $600,000 to replace all those positions and maintain what we have been doing. That $600,000 would have to come out of self-supporting funds. And the reality is we don't have $600,000 in self-supporting funds to go to support salaries. Because if we do need to get the self-supporting amount down to less than $200,000. So we're looking at what we can do to make sure that we continue to be fiscally viable at this institution. If we use those self-supporting funds to support salaries where we could otherwise, even though it's going to be tight and it's not going to be pleasant for everybody, but if we had a new program that we wanted to start up, that's where we get the money to start up those new programs. So by taking the money from self-supporting to support salaries, that doesn't allow us to be flexible. It becomes what some of us have been referring to as the death spiral, that you just start to spiral down and get lower and lower in your enrollment because then we'll talk about what we can do to improve the situation in a moment. So how did we get here? Well, first off, it's not anybody's fault of how we got here. People did not do their jobs to get us here. But look at some things that have occurred. Management flex cuts to the college have cost the college over $7 million since they were implemented. That $7 million, by the way, is about what it would take to have balanced our budget over the years, and we would not be sitting in the circumstances that we are now. Unexpected reversion this spring occurred to the tune of about $80,000. We weren't expecting that. Receipts are down across the state, and so they took, in addition to the management flex cuts. By the way, management flex cuts is they say, here's your budget, but before we give it to you, we're going to take a big chunk of it back. That's occurred to the tune of about $7 million. Federal rules changes that caused us and all colleges to drop in basic skills enrollment. It's not basic skills fault. I don't want anybody to walk out here and say it's the basic skills fault. They could not help what happened to them. Riddle Center because of a change in the federal regulations. There's nothing anybody can do except at the federal level. And you will notice that a lot of this is the governmental changes that we didn't have anything to do with. Declining FTE across the board. I think we're all aware of where we have been going with FTE. Our enrollment at this institution has fallen to the tune of 49% since 2011. So our enrollment has dropped rather dramatically. We are still at almost the same staffing levels that we were when we were at maximum enrollment. We have dropped in some areas, faculty being the one that has taken the biggest hit, because as the enrollment came down, of course, we didn't need as many faculty. But we've also can't continue to balance the budget just on the backs of the faculty. And everybody's going to have to be a part of this. We set a goal past year to be flat and get a bump in enrollment through cosmetology. We did get the cosmetology bump. We picked up about 90 FTE from cosmetology, but it was offset by a decline in our other enrollment, more than we thought that we were going to come down. Currently, we're about 2100 FTE for the year. So that's what has just come in. So we're in that range. So that's where we are. The next part of this is about rumor control. One of the things that we have tried diligently to do in the almost 4 years that I've been back at this institution, is to give you all information. You know what we know at this point. There is no more at this point. Some people take it upon themselves, though, to, we'll say, enhance the truth. What I need you all to do is to stop that. We will tell you everything that we can when the information becomes available. But spreading false information is not appreciated. And if you want to know what is happening, and I would suggest that you listen to what we tell you, because we're not keeping anything back from you all. We're telling you exactly what is going on. What happens to the state budget is going to impact what happens at this institution for the next year. We currently are not anticipating a robust state state budget. This is the short session of the legislature, and we expect that nothing much will change. We have some plans that are in the budget, but it's not going to dramatically reverse our situation. However, I want to emphasize, nothing is going to be different until we get to the June meeting with the trustees. At that point, we will discuss things with them. So that's the bad news. That's also the news about rumor control, which you all have a direct impact on what goes out and what is told. I do want to emphasize again, this is not anybody's fault, but we all need to be a part of the solution of getting this institution back on track to be where we need to be. It is a critical time from now until the end of July. We have until that period of time to make sure that we do two things. Number one, pack as many people as we can into summer enrollment. Some of our sister institutions grew by double digits last summer. We did not. So there is the opportunity to grow our summer enrollment, and that's everybody's business. The other thing is to grow our fall enrollment. Fall enrollment is an indicator of how the rest of the year is going to go. So we need to be diligent in what we are doing for both summer and fall. We are currently not where we need to be in both the fall and the summer enrollment. So I need you all to work very hard to make sure students are pushed our way. I need you to update student current contact information as it comes in. One of the things that we hear is that students don't use this, they don't use that, they don't use the school email, and yet that's their preferred method of communication. So we need to know how to get in touch with students. And so the first thing you can do is, as you talk to students, make sure that we have updated contact information. All curriculum areas need to work on their list of current students and new students to get them enrolled and make sure they know they show up for classes. So instructors, check to make sure your students continue in your programs. We have pretty decent retention here, but we can always be better. 100%. When we get to that, I'll quit saying that. It'd be great if you would suggest your students additional classes that they could take. So if you have a student who's taking 2 classes, say, you could add this one to your list of classes if you want to, and continue with your program, and we could earn additional FTE. Be flexible in class offering times. When someone comes to you, supervisors come to you and say, we need to flex to be able to offer these classes. Sometimes it appears, if you look at our schedule, that all we do is go to class from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. And there are other times in the day when we could have classes. Some of you were great at offering classes a variety of times. I appreciate that. But I'm asking the rest of you to be as flexible as you can, as flexible as you can, and to line up with what the students are looking for when they need classes. When classes meet in the summer and fall, contact those students who don't show up. So if you get a list of students, you've got 10 students who signed up for your class, only 8 of them show up, get on the phone, find out where those students are and say you didn't show up for class, are you coming? And let's get that cleaned up. We have almost quit canceling class or filling up classes and that overload situation that we used to be in, where we kept adding more and more classes. We still have a few places, but we have capacity in almost all of our programs. And the really awful thing is that not only do we have capacity in our programs, but it's exactly the programs that people in industry in this area are begging for students. There is never a day that goes by that somebody doesn't ask me, where are the students in? And you've heard the various VPs talk about that. Electricians, machining, all of our programs that we have out there are in the technical areas. No, not all of our students are technical students, and I'm not saying we put them in technical programs, but we have a lot of opportunity. One new figure that Susan just provided for me, 50% of the high school students in Burke County Public Schools last year said they wanted to go to a community college in North Carolina. 50%. They aren't here. They didn't go to other schools. They just didn't go anywhere. We think there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 28% of the students who said they wanted to be at a community college who didn't go anywhere. They didn't go to a university, they didn't go here. So we're working very hard with Burke County Public Schools to do that. The other thing that we're doing, and you've seen some of it here, is the marketing push that's going on. We're developing marketing strategies and deliverables to get the word out. We need your ideas, though, about how best to get that done. In fact, we are late right now for the marketing committee meeting that started 2 minutes ago, but we'll catch up with them. We just sent out that oversized postcard that we think may have some help, but it's something to get the word going. We're going to follow up with an aggressive marketing campaign in July. We'll be making available more marketing materials for programs. So if you have a program you need marketing materials, you need to contact Atticus, let him know that he needs to be developing those along with you. We'll also be providing more giveaway items for upcoming visits for people who come to our campus, and also to the fairs and the festivals that we attend. The same committee that's meeting now, a portion of that is also working on FTE generating ideas, and we would love to have your input on that. We are begging you for your input at this point. Whether you're here, you're retired, or you're in the community, we don't care. We're looking for good ideas for FTE generation. We certainly don't all come out of the VP's and the president's office. You all will know more what is needed out there than some of us will. So other things that you can do, in addition to that, we've got the big marketing push on, we've got a lot of things going on, but there are some other things that you can do individually. You can take a class. You get one free class a year. Take a class that earns FTE. Some institutions earn a substantial amount of FTE that way. Teach an FTE generating class. If you are a person and you have a skill set that you would like to get out there and teach a class, it might be a general interest class. We would prefer that it earns FTE, but if it's self-supporting, that would be okay too. I'm teaching a class right now. Great job as a teacher in that class. I am the instructor of record, but it's a CNC routing class that I'm working with the woodworking folks on. But it does have 6 students in it, and it's generating some FTE. So you all take a look at what you're doing and see if there's something you can do. Stay focused on the positive, even though, right now this all looks like it's negative, everything's bad. It's not. It's not as bad as it seems. In fact, I was discussing this earlier with the superintendent of schools for Burke County Public Schools. Anyway, any day that you pick up the paper, they have more issues than we have in the worst of years. So this is not that bad. I don't want you to be down in the dumps about this. We do incredibly great things at this college, and we need to be emphasizing what we do and what we do well. We change lives for a lot of people, and we need to be on our game every day, but it's going to take all of us working harder, promoting the college and the community. So don't say negative things about the college when you're out there. The worst thing you can do is go out and say, man, the place is just kind of falling apart. It's just terrible. It's not. It looks bad right now. We're in a tough budget situation, and I've explained, I hope, how we got to that situation. I just went to the Barter Theater. Anybody know about Barter Theater in Abingdon, Virginia? Really cool place. Well, at the first of it, the guy gets up there and he said, in the words of Robert Porterfield, if you like us, Talk about us. If you don't, then keep your mouth shut. So that might be my advice to you all about us. Together, we are going to get our enrollment back up. I expect that we have a couple of more years that are going to be tight. I think this is the last year that it's going to be like this, and I've got every part of my body crossed that I can. The years following that are going to be better, but it's probably going to be tight because of some things that are already in place that we can forecast out. We spend a lot of time and a lot of sleepless nights worrying about how to get enrollment back up. This is an enrollment-driven institution. Part of it is that we have this very strange formula. A good bit of it is that they give it and then they take it away at the same time. If they would get that fixed, we would be fine. If you talk to your legislators, tell them that it would be great if they would work on their formula. I tell them that all the time, but it hasn't done anything to change it yet. The next college-wide meeting is going to be in mid-June, and of course these meetings are open to all employees. If you're a faculty and you're not here in June, you're welcome to come back. You can also watch them on the YouTube when we post those. You'll get the link out. This is a great time. It's a great time to celebrate our students' successes. It's a great time to be planning for future successes. You all don't need to worry, but you do need to be aware. And you do need to be on guard about what's coming up, and we need your help to get there. So what I'm looking forward to is celebrating the student successes, seeing you all at the various graduations and pinning ceremonies. You're a great bunch of folks to work with. We can solve this issue. We can go forward, and I know that we will do it together. So you guys have a great summer. If I don't see you again, but I'll see most of you either at graduation or some of the pinning ceremonies. And thank you for all your service to the institution.